You might believe you can spot toxicity when someone's energy feels heavy or their actions cross a line. But what if the real danger isn't obvious? What if the most harmful people appear kind, charming, even like family? While guarding against obvious villains, you might unknowingly open your mind to something far more subtle, the unexamined suffering of others seeping into your own heart. Buddha taught that ignorance, avidya, the root of all suffering, clouds our perception. Much of what drives us isn't conscious but buried in craving, aversion, and delusion. This isn't just your struggle, it's universal. When others ignore their inner turmoil, their unresolved karma, actions, can ripple outward, pulling you into their unseen storms. Have you felt this? Drained after conversations, blamed for things you didn't do, trapped in roles you never chose, a hero, villain, or mirror for others' pain? This is delusion, where others cast their unacknowledged suffering onto you. You stop being you and become a screen for their hidden struggles. The scariest part? You might not even notice. You think you're helping, being compassionate or wise. Yet slowly, you drown in conflicts not yours, entangled in cycles of clinging. Upadana. You didn't create. Buddha warned that the greatest harm doesn't come from malice but from unconscious patterns. People trapped in ignorance clinging to masks, ego, past wounds, sankhara, or repressed desires, tanha. Their pain doesn't knock, it seeps in through daily moments. A sharp comment, a loaded silence, until you doubt your own truth, you tell. Might be in this now, in relationships, work, or family. You blame yourself wondering, what's wrong with me? Nothing. But something is wrong in how you're used as a vessel for others' unaddressed karma. In teachings like the Dhammapada, Buddha revealed that the mind is everything. What you think, you become. When someone refuses to face their inner defilements, kilesas, their darkness seeks a host, and often, that host is you. Their unhealed anger, envy, or fear clings to your mind like a shadow, distorting your peace. You might think you're being empathetic, mature, or wise, yet you're sinking into a battlefield not yours, resolving conflicts that belong to others. Buddha called this maranasat, forgetting your true nature while chasing illusions. These dynamics don't announce themselves. They whisper through veiled accusations. You're too selfish to meditate. Guilt disguised as virtue. A good Buddhist would never say no. Silent expectations that shrink your spirit. Buddha taught that the most dangerous people aren't evil, but asleep. They live estranged from their true nature, ruled by masks, trauma, and craving. Their danger is silent, seeping into your mind until you start to lose touch with your own reality. If you're here, questioning, you're already awakening. In this video, we'll expose 6 types of people Buddha warned us to avoid, not out of judgment, but to protect your peace. These aren't monsters, but souls lost in delusion, acting from forces they don't understand. We'll use Buddha's own words, from the Sutta Pitaka, Dhammapada, and teachings on the 4 Noble Truths, to help you spot hidden patterns. Guard your mind, Sita. Break free from cycles of suffering. But be warned, after this you'll see people, and yourself, differently. Imagine living with someone who turns your compassion into a trigger for their unresolved grief, uses your presence to avoid facing their inner void, makes you responsible for emotions you didn't create. At first, they seem fragile, even wise, but over time you're dragged into a war that isn't yours, a war you'll lose because the battlefield is your own mind. Ready? Take a deep breath. Let's begin. But remember, truth liberates, but first, it unsettles. By the end, you'll never walk through the world, or your own heart, the same way again. You think you know who to avoid, the loud, the cruel, the obviously toxic. But what if the greatest threats wear kindness like a cloak? What if they sit at your table, share your blood, or whisper wisdom while quietly poisoning your peace? Buddha warned that the deepest dangers arise not from malice, but from ignorance, the refusal to see one's own shadows. These 6 types of people don't wield knives. They wield delusion, And if you're not careful, their suffering will become yours. The Ignorant Projector. They're the friend who's always in crisis, the partner who blames you for their pain. Cloaked in fragility, they see you not as a person, but as a mirror for their unhealed wounds. Buddha called this avidya, ignorance of one's true nature. Instead of facing their anger, guilt, or fear, they project it onto you. You made me feel this way. If you loved me, you'd fix this. Their words drip with victimhood, yet their silence screams avoidance. You try to help, to heal, to understand, but they're not looking for a solution. They're feeding on your empathy like a preda, hungry ghost, forever starving, never full. Buddha taught, no one saves us but ourselves. Dhammapada 165. Their karma is theirs to resolve, not yours to carry. The moment you feel drained, after every interaction ask, is this my suffering or theirs? Walk away before their shadows dim your light. 2. The mask of illusion. They're flawless. The perfect parent, the enlightened guru, the friend whose life is a highlight reel. But beneath the curated smiles and spiritual platitudes lies a void. Buddha warned of Maya, the illusion of identity. These people cling to their masks, anatta, so tightly, they forget who they truly are, and they'll shame you for your humanity to avoid confronting their own. Living with them feels like performing in a play. You're praised for playing your role, punished for improvising. Cry? You're too sensitive. Doubt? A true Buddhist would trust the path. Their perfection is a prison, and they'll drag you inside if you linger. Break free by embracing sunnata, emptiness, the truth that all facades fade. As the Diamond Sutra whispers, all conditioned things are like a dream. Stop applauding their act. The repressed defilements, calm, polite, too controlled until they snap over spilled tea or a misplaced word. Buddha named these buried poisons kilesas, greed, hatred, delusion. When repressed, they ferment into passive aggression, bitter sarcasm, or icy withdrawal. You tiptoe around their moods, blaming yourself for their outbursts. But their rage isn't about you. It's the rot of unprocessed emotions, erupting like a volcano. Buddha said, holding on to anger is like drinking poison. Dhammapada 3. Their toxicity spreads silently, seeping into your peace. Protect yourself with upekkha, equanimity. Don't drink their poison. Don't mistake their storms for your fault. 4. The Dogmatic Judge. They weaponize virtue. Real Buddhists don't get angry. You're selfish for setting boundaries. Their morality isn't guidance, it's control. Buddha condemned rigid dogma, salabata paramasa, teaching that true ethics arise from wisdom, not rules. These judges use guilt like a leash, tying you to their ideals. You shrink under their gaze, silencing your doubts to avoid condemnation. But Buddha urged skepticism. Don't believe something just because it's tradition. Test it with your wisdom. Kalama Sutta. Break their chains by walking the middle path, compassionate but free. The Karmic Prisoner. Their past traumas, sankhara, haunt your present. One day, they're loving. The next, they're cold, accusing, lost in old wounds. You become their therapist, soothsayer, and punching bag, all while they refuse to heal. Buddha taught that clinging to the past binds us to samsara, the cycle of suffering. You can't free someone who clings to their chains. Practice karuna, compassion, but don't drown in their chaos. As the Metta Sutta teaches, let none deceive another, let none wish harm upon another. Love them, but let them walk their own path. 6. The Clinging Ghost. They don't want your love, they want your life. Texts at midnight, tears if you're busy, guilt if you breathe. Buddha called this upadana, clinging, the desperate grip of those who fear their own emptiness. You give and give, yet their need is a black hole. Your energy fades, your joy dims. You forget your own name in their endless drama. Buddha warned, protect your solitude like a sacred flame. Cut the cords with right effort. Wish them peace, but guard your spirit. You are not their savior. You are not their shrine. Buddha's path to protection. See clearly. Recognize these patterns without judgment. The root of suffering is ignorance. First noble truth. Stand firm. Set boundaries with metta, loving kindness. You can care without collapsing. Return home. Meditate on the Brahma Viharas, loving kindness, compassion, joy, equanimity. Anchor in your own worth. These people aren't monsters. They're mirrors, reflecting the parts of you still afraid to awaken. Heal your own shadows, and their games lose power. As the Dhammapada reminds, you are the source of all purity and impurity. No one purifies another. The danger isn't out there. It's in how much of yourself you surrender. So breathe, let go, and remember, your peace is not a prize to be won. It's a birthright to be claimed.